Morning students, today we will continue with our chapter number 4, the separation of substances. Till now we have studied some of the processes by which we can separate the different components of mixtures. Today we will start with the fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is the method used to separate two miscible liquids which have different boiling points. Miscible liquids means the liquids which dissolve completely in each other, like water and ethanol. They can be separated by using the method of fractional distillation. The principle of fractional distillation is that different liquids boil at different temperatures. The component with lower boiling point vaporizes first. It is collected and allowed to pass through the condenser to liquefy. The component with higher boiling point is left behind. Ethanol has a boiling point of 78.4 degrees Celsius, while water has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. So when we heat the mixture of water and ethanol, ethanol vaporizes first and its vapor pass through the condenser and get liquefied in a separate container. This way ethanol gets separated from water. Mixture of kerosene, diesel and petrol called the crude oil, it can be separated by the method of fractional distillation. We get the different types of oil and in different fractions of the distillation columns. This method of separation is by using the separating funnels. The separating funnel is a special flask in the shape of inverted cone. It has a mouth at the top and stopcock at the bottom. The separating funnel is used to separate the immiscible liquids, that means the liquids which do not dissolve completely in each other. The principle behind using the separating funnel is that the liquids which are denser, that means heavier, form the lower layer and the less dense liquids form the upper layer. This figure shows the separating funnels which are kept in a laboratory. Now we will do a small activity to show the separation of a mixture of oil and water. For this we need a mixture of oil and water, 2 beakers, a separating funnel and a funnel stand. Pour the mixture of oil and water in a separating funnel with its stopcock closed. Allow it to stand for some time. We will observe that the mixture separates in 2 distinct layers. Water being heavier forms the lower layer and oil being lighter forms the upper layer. Open the stopcock and allow the water to flow out into the beaker. Stop the flow as soon as the layer of oil reaches the stopcock. Now collect the oil in another beaker by again opening the stopcock. This way oil and water get separated from the mixture using a separating funnel. Next method of separation is the magnetic separation, which is used to separate the components in which one of the component is magnetic in nature. In this method, the magnetic and the non-magnetic substances of the mixture are separated by using a magnet. If we bring a magnet over the mixture, the magnetic substances get attracted towards the magnet and the non-magnetic substances are left behind. For example, if we want to separate the mixture of iron fillings and sugar, we bring the magnet over the mixture. The iron fillings, being magnetic in nature, cling to the magnet and sugar is left behind. Thus in this way, the iron fillings and sugar are separated. Next method used for separation is filtration. This method is used to separate the insoluble solids in liquids. It is done by passing the mixture that is a solid liquid mixture, through a filter paper. Filter is a device which consists of small holes. The filter allows the liquid to pass through the holes and retain the insoluble solids on it. The liquid which passes through the filter paper is called the filtrate, and the solid which is left on the filter paper is called the residue. The porous substances like cotton, glass wool, unglazed porcelain, muslin cloth, charcoal or layer of sand can be used as the filters. In laboratories, we use the filter paper for filtration. For example, to separate the components of mixture of chalk and water, the mixture is passed through the filter paper. The chalk particles are left on the filter paper and water is collected down in the beaker. How we can separate mixtures having more than two components? In the mixture where only two components are separated, we use single methods, but when the mixture contains more than two components, we have to use different methods to separate the components. The method of separation and their order depends upon the properties of the components. For example, if we have to separate a mixture of sand, iron fillings and common salt, we use the magnetic property of iron, which is not possessed by the other two components. So it can be done. First, we will pass the magnet over the mixture. The iron fillings cling to the magnet and get separated. Now, we dissolve the mixture of sand and common salt in water. Salt will dissolve in water and sand will not dissolve in water. The solution containing sand and dissolved salt is then passed through the filter paper. As a result, the sand is collected on the filter paper and the salt solution is filtered. The salt can be obtained from the solution through evaporation. Thus, to separate the components from the mixture of iron fillings, sand and common salt, we use three methods: magnetic separation, filtration and evaporation. Chromatography is one of the methods used to separate the colored components of a mixture. This method is based on the difference in the rate of absorption of different components on the surface of the adsorbent. In this method, there is a stationary phase and a mobile phase. The mixture is dissolved in a fluid or a solvent called the mobile phase, which carries the components of the mixture with it through the stationary phase. It is the adsorbent. Paper chromatography is one of the types of chromatography which is done on a piece of specialized paper. In this method, there is a stationary phase and a mobile phase. Different type of papers can be used as a stationary phase, but Whatman number 1 and 3 filter papers are found more suitable. The mobile phase is a suitable liquid in which the components of the mixture are soluble. The ideal solvent would be that which separates the components of the mixture in separate zones at a good distance from each other. The components of mixture get separated when they travel across the paper at different rates based on their attraction to the paper or solubility in the solvent. The component which is more soluble travels faster. The advantages of paper chromatography are: it is used to separate the complex mixtures. It can separate very less quantity of mixture also. It is cheaper as compared to other chromatographic techniques, and it is less time consuming. Now we will do an activity to separate different colors of a marker pen ink. For this, the materials required are a black marker pen, filter paper, a beaker, a piece of wood, pen, pencil, a paper plate and some water. Put a small amount of water in the beaker so as to barely cover its bottom. Cut the filter paper in a rectangular strip. Draw the pencil line across the narrow end of the strip about 1 centimeter from the bottom. Then draw a small black dot with black marker pen on the pencil line. Attach the strip to a piece of wood with the help of a pin. Carefully place the piece of wood on the beaker so that the bottom of the strip just touches the water. We will make sure that the water level is below the ink spot, or else the ink will just run off into the water. The water will start traveling up the filter paper. When the water reaches the top of the paper, remove the strip from the beaker and let it dry on a paper plate. We will observe a series of color on the strip, which are the component colors in the ink of the black marker pen. So this way the different colors of the marker pen are separated using the paper chromatography. Thank you.